Let's go ahead and take a look at the application that we're going to be building together in this course. This file is going to be included in the project files for the course, so be sure to open that up, and all you need is Adobe XD, which is a free program built specifically for prototyping and designing software interfaces. It's a great program and really helpful. I use it for designing all of my projects, so it's definitely useful to get familiar with. So let's hop over to Adobe XD and take a look at what we'll be doing in this course. Okay, here we are. This is going to be the online store that we are going to completely build from scratch. So don't be intimidated. It may look like we've got a lot going on here, but I promise as we work through it, it's going to be much simpler than you might expect thanks to the amazing JAMstack that we'll be working with. Let's start, of course, up on the home page. So this is going to be the landing page for our e-commerce application. For the sake of this course, I created an imaginary clothing line for developers, and that is going to be the store that we're going to be building. Up at the top, we have our company logo, our header with some tabs displaying the different categories of products that we'll be selling. And then in the right, we have our icons for our user account, our cart, and of course, the site search. Then the first part of our landing page is what we call the hero block. And here, this consists of our slogan, the Premier Developer Clothing Line, and the tagline, high quality, custom designed shirts, hats, and hoodies. Then to the right of that, we're going to have a little terminal animation that I threw together, which I think you guys are going to like. It's pretty simple, but it looks cool, and I think having a custom animation right there on the home page like this really adds a great look and feel to your application. If we continue down here, we see that we have this next section, which I like to think of as kind of the promotional products. So these could be products that you want to specifically feature on your homepage, maybe to get them some more attention. And so we have a little kind of carousel here that is going to let us switch between all three of them and then see the different category descriptions and icons. Down below here, we have the section that I like to think of as the featured products. So before, those were our promotional products. These are our featured products. So these could be things that we know are selling really well or that people come to this site pretty often for. And so we'll give them a little icon here as well as this pop-up that is going to slide in and out from behind the icon whenever we click on them. So when we click over here onto these, it is going to open or close rather this one and then open the slide with details for this one. You see here we have this background of just some coding elements that we'll be adding to it and 6 featured products. So below that, we have what I call our marketing buttons. And so one of them is just going to take us into the store, just giving the user on the home page another little nudge into our actual conversion funnel. And then here we'll have a More by Us button, which I imagine being able to link to maybe social media or maybe another partner site or something like that. That's basically just a place for self-promotion is how I think of it. Now lastly on this page, well second to last really, is our call to action here. This is just another little nudge to get more involved with the site by either maybe sending us a message or actually creating an account. So just again, encouraging and inviting the user to stick with us, to interact with our application, and why. That's the call to action. Then the very last thing we have here, of course, is the footer. That is just going to have some extra information. So that will be our home page. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the next page, which is our product list page. Now, this is going to be our page for each of the categories. It is going to list all of our products, the product list page. At the top of this page, we have one of the elements that I think is most interesting about this project that I call the dynamic toolbar. So this toolbar normally contains the name of the category as well as the category description. And then up the top, it has buttons for sorting and filtering our application, as well as a button here to change from a product in a grid view to the products in a list view. Okay, so one of the reasons behind this dynamic toolbar is I really don't like how a lot of times these toolbars on e-commerce sites, they tend to give you all of this, the sorting, the filtering, the everything is kind of just always there at once and taking up that screen real estate, even if you're not actually needing it. Now, I imagine a lot of times when you go and maybe you pick out some filters and then you want to go scroll through the products, well, when you're then looking through the products, you don't need to still see all the filters. You really are focused more on the products again. So my idea is to really only show you what you need at the time, which increases simplicity and increases the ease and convenience for the customer. So if we scroll down here, you'll see the style that we have for the different products on the page, as well as in the bottom here, a little button that'll just take us up to the top of the page. But if we keep scrolling down, you'll see here that the next screen is what our filter is going to look like when we open it up. So here you can see that we'll have our size, maybe the type of material, and then the colors, all as checkboxes that we can use to define what type of hoodies we actually want to see. One of the cool features about how we'll set this up is it will actually enable each category to have its own different types of filters. Because you might have, say, hoodies that require a size and a type and a color, but maybe your hats all come in one size. Maybe they're adjustable, so you wouldn't need a size option. Or maybe you'd have other products that would need other customized filtering options. And so we'll have each category have its own filtered options. So that will be really cool. Let's keep scrolling. And here you can see what the sort is going to look like. And so this allows us to just sort how we want the items to be displayed, whether from alphabetical, reverse alphabetical, newest, oldest, highest priced, lowest priced, reviews, or maybe even if it's on sale. Let's keep scrolling down here. And here you can see that when we actually click on one of the products on the product list page, it's going to open up a quick view of the product. Now, this is another user experience consideration that I kept in mind while I was designing this application. And that principle is that we want to make purchases as easy and convenient for customers as possible, which will increase the volume at which they do so. The easier it is to buy something, the more people are going to buy it. So that's why instead of having to go all the way to another page, we're going to provide this little quick view pop-up so that our users have a nice little add to cart button right here, the price, all the information that they need to quickly convert and add to the cart here instead of wasting time asking them to go to another page. So here you see that this will include things like the number of stars, the star rating for the product, how many of the product are currently in stock, the price, which size of product, which color of product, and then of course the add to cart button. We also have buttons up here for favoriting the item and then adding the item to our subscriptions, which we'll get into later. Then lastly, we have the product list page, but instead of the grid view, this is in the list view. So you can see what this looks like. And now here, I just used the same picture, but either flipped or rotated so that you can see that it will support multiple pictures, giving your user another better, quicker view of the product without having to actually go to the page yet. Then over here on the right, we provide all the information right off the bat that the user might need instead of having to click for the quick view like up here. So in the list view, it really gives them a nice, easy way to just scan through all the products and get exactly all the information that they need. Although I did just realize that the price and the quantity button is missing from over here for some reason. So let me just grab these guys, go ahead and copy this, just so that you can see what this will look like for sure. So we'll have the price, not so big, right here. Let's go ahead and move that guy. Right about there is where it'll be. And then our add to cart button will be right there. Look about something like that. I may rearrange those just a little bit once we get into it, but that is what it'll look like. Again, making it very easy and convenient for our customers to make the purchases as fast as possible. So that's the product list page and the different pieces of functionality that are going to go into it and cause the different states or different modes of the screen. So let's now go to the actual product page itself. So this will be once you actually click on one of the products. It will take you to the page for just that product here, where you'll get to see the detailed description and a bigger view of all of the images. We have all the same buttons as before for our size, selecting which color, letting us know how much is in stock, and then adding to cart, of course. We also have our favorite and our subscription buttons, and then we also have the button to go ahead and leave a review. So if we press that, that'll go ahead and scroll us down to here, where you can see we've got some product recommendations. And we're not going to get super complicated with how we're going to put together those recommendations in this course. That would be a little out of the scope of what we're going to be covering, but it is helpful to just show some products that your user might be interested in. Below that, here you can see where we have the reviews as well as the UI for what leaving a new review will look like when you press leave a review. So then here you'll be able to hover over and then click to select your number of stars, write your review, and then press the button to save it. If we scroll down here, you can see that when we actually press the subscription button up here, right here in the corner, the subscription button saying that we want to subscribe to have this item delivered regularly, like say if we're a clothing item store ourselves and so we need a shipment of 30 of these hoodies coming to our store every single month, well then we could subscribe to have that happen automatically for us. So when we press that button, that's going to open up this dialog, just a simple pop-up letting us add the subscription to our cart. Here is our login screen. So this will be what you see whenever you go and click our little user icon up at the top. Here you're presented with an email and a password field to log into your account or a button to log in with Facebook. Then here we have our button for forgot password and our button for adding a new user. So if we scroll down, we can see what that looks like. Here's our forgot password. And it will be very simple. You just enter your email, hit reset password, and that'll send a code to your email, which you'll then use to reset your password. We'll keep scrolling. Here is what the sign up is going to look like. And so when you click the little button here to add a new user, it'll take you here. And one of the UX principles that I wanted to stick to with this was keeping the process as simple as possible, and again, never overloading the user with too much information at once. So you may have noticed that sites like Google now, if you're logging into your Gmail, it'll first ask you for the email, and then you hit next, and then it'll ask you for your password. The reason for this is because you actually respond faster to just the one input than you actually do if you saw both of them at once. And the thinking there is because your brain has to take time to look at each input and figure out what is required, whereas when it's just one input, you know automatically without thinking just that piece of information that you have to put in. So we start off just asking for the name, and then when you hit next, we go ahead and ask for your email and password. That is all it'll take to click sign up and have an account created. From there, we have a button to encourage the user to go into the store and shop. All right, so we're making progress. We're almost through this. Over here, you check out the Contact Us page. So this is a pretty simple page, but I really like the design for it. I think that the Contact Us page is usually pretty overlooked, so I just wanted to make sure that this fit the feel for our application, and we'll make sure to go over how to actually wire this up to deliver these messages to us. It wouldn't be any good if we just had a useless form set up, so we'll make sure to actually go over how we get these messages from the website to us. All right. And that leaves almost the last part. The second to last is our account page if we're actually logged in. So if we go and click on our account and we're already signed in, then it'll bring us here to our user dashboard. Here, they'll be able to go in and view their previous orders with order history, check their list of favorite items, check their current subscriptions, or manage their user settings. Whenever you click one of these buttons, it is going to expand to fill up the space here and then push all the other buttons out of the way. So if we scroll down here, we'll see that when we click on settings, it expands to this. So here we have all the different pieces for the information that our site is going to allow our users to save. You can see here that we're going to allow our users to actually save 3 different sets of information. So 3 different contact info, 3 different shipping details, 3 different shipping addresses, and 3 different payment methods. I think this is a really top-notch level of user experience and convenience for our users. For example, I've purchased things on Amazon for my mother and have had them sent directly to her. And so it's really convenient for me to just have that address saved onto Amazon so I don't have to re-enter it every time. And so that's what I had in mind when I created this functionality that will allow our users to save multiple sets of whatever information they need, making the checkout process, again, as easy and quick as possible, which encourages purchases. Another UX consideration here is being able to look up the city and state, the location, from just the postal code or zip code, which I always find is really convenient and handy when websites do that for you. So we'll build that into our application here as well. If we continue below, here you'll see the order history screen. And so this will be a list of all your successful orders, the order number, and then the status of your order. So whether or not we're processing the order, we've shipped it out, or if you've received it, when the order was placed, and how much it was. Then over here, the buttons we have are to expand the details of this order, or to order this order again, which, as I keep repeating, just makes things easier and more convenient for the user. If we scroll down here, we'll see what it looks like when we press that details button and expand one of our orders. And you can see that that shows the expected shipping date under our shipping label, as well as the selected option for our shipping. So in this case, overnight shipping. Then our transaction ID from Stripe, which will help us if we ever need to look it up for any sort of disputes or issues of any kind, as well as the payment method used to place the purchase. Then it'll have each of the items listed with its price and its quantity. Let's keep going. We're almost through all of this. Here you see our favorites. So this will be similar to the order history, but instead we'll actually see our item here and then have an option to select the item variant, so our size and whatever color we like, along with the quantity of how many we want, and then the price. And then this will all allow us to quickly add this to our cart or remove the item from our list of favorites. Last but not least, we have subscriptions. And this will be the page to manage all of the active subscriptions with a button to pause the subscription or to delete it and cancel it altogether, along with the total of the subscription, when the next order is going to be placed, how often the order will be placed, and how many of the item to purchase. And you'll also be able to select from whatever saved payment methods you may have to manage that subscription. So there's definitely a lot going on in this application. Like I said, this is the most fully featured e-commerce application architecture that I have seen for React, period. I think that this is really well done, really over the top, and really hits all the bases that you might need or want in your e-commerce applications. The very last part of our page, or store rather, that we'll be building together is the actual cart. The cart is one of the most important parts of the e-commerce site because without it, we wouldn't be able to actually get our money. So it's definitely one of the most important parts to make sure we have working correctly and smoothly. First, we have our items listed on the left. You see we have the picture, the title, and the price, as well as the actual item ID, which we'll use on this page if we have to display any errors relating to certain items. That will enable us to specify items even if they're the same item but different variants. That is the variant ID, but we'll get into that later, of course. And then we have the quantity button, which allows us to edit the quantity if we need more or less once we're here at the cart, as well as, again, our buttons to favorite the item, subscribe to the item, or remove the item from our cart. Here on the right, we have what I like to call the checkout portal. This is a dynamic element on our page which sticks to that UX principle that I've been talking about of making sure we never overload the user with information. We want to keep things as simple and as clean as possible to keep them moving through as quickly as possible. So here, the first step in our checkout portal is going to be the details, the shipping details. And you can see here that we can pick from our saved pieces of information for our shipping, and then we have a switch over here to mark one of them as billing. If we don't mark one of our saved or newly entered details for billing, then when we press next, it will present us with this same screen, but simply with billing details as the title, and then ask again. We also have buttons up in the top of this to save any newly entered information to our account or to delete a saved slot from our account. Clicking next here will take us to the address section, and just like our settings, we will have it built to pull the location from the zip code. And just like the details, we will have all of our 3 saved methods loaded up if they exist, and an option to mark one of them as being for billing. After the address, this is where you'll select your shipping option, either free shipping, 2-day shipping, or overnight shipping. And that'll just be a button to press, so very simple. And then here we will have our payment page. And this is where we will actually enter the credit card that we want to use to pay for this purchase, as well as an option to save this card for future use. So by flipping this switch, it is going to save this card to your account. And we're going to go over how to do all of that, how to make sure it's all secure, which will be very easy thanks to Stripe, which is going to handle all this input for us. After we've put in our payment methods, then we simply need to confirm. And so here we see a list out of all of the information that we've entered, along with our subtotal, what our shipping cost will be based on our selected option, as well as the tax involved. And then here you see the final complete total and the button to place the order. So we'll go ahead, click this button, and the order will go through. I really liked the design for this. I really thought that it was interesting and creative while still making it very clear and simple to understand, but I appreciate any feedback that you might have. You see, we also have a promo code section that will allow us to enter discounts for our products. Once we go ahead and place our order, then our order is confirmed, our cart is cleared out, and we get the expected shipping as well as our order number, and then a link to go into our account and check out the details. Just like always, we want to keep nudging our user back into the conversion funnel. Even though they just converted, we want to push them right back in. And so that's why we give them another shop button, just kind of giving them another nudge, another encouragement, just to keep checking the store out, see what we've got. So let me zoom out again and let's take a look at what all we just covered. That really is quite a lot of stuff, but this is really what it takes to create a fully fledged e-commerce application. If you're just showing how to process payments or you're just showing how to add stuff to a simple cart, that's not enough to create a real e-commerce application that you could use to start a business today. And that is essentially what I wanted to deliver in this course. So I hope you're excited to build this. I am so excited to show it to you. I hope you're really interested in building this design. I hope you're really interested in all the pieces of functionality that we've got going on here. And I can promise you it's going to be so exciting and so interesting to learn. So get strapped in and ready to roll. We're going to jump right into building this massive e-commerce application with the JAMstack.